So my name is Anthony Ferraro. I'm from upstate New York, born and raised in a little town with a funny name. In my life, there's one person that always comes to mind that kind of helped shape or helped sort of put me on a path of the kind of person I want to become. His name was Johnny. We used to hang out at a game room in town, which was where all the young kids would meet to meet girls or to go to have drinking parties or just to socialize, sort of like, you know, Happy Days at Arthur's or, you know, that sort of thing. And I'd be there with my little friends, and Johnny would come by with the older guys. They'd roll up in their cars because they had a car. He had that thing going. He had like kind of long black hair. Not too long, just long enough. Drove, he didn't drive a Camaro. If it was the movie version of him, he'd probably drive a Camaro. We had like a Monte Carlo. He was a ladies' man, like he got all the girls, it was Johnny. Like Johnny would come out and be like, oh, there's Johnny, Yeah, it was just, I don't know, looking back now, it's like one of those movies where he was like, the Bad News Bears was like Kelly Lee, or, Dazed and Confused with Matthew McConaughey, that all the info's on the flyer, man. It's like he was a cool guy. For some reason, he took a notice to me, and he would get a kick out of, him and the older guys would be going to party or something, and he'd be like, Anthony, jump in the car with us, It's such a strange thing to say, but he was like mentoring me, like being cool, like being a man's man, being a guy, being like, without being like a jerk. Johnny was graduating, and he was moving with another guy. They were moving to Florida, and so the night before he left, there was a party for him. It was at a bar. Johnny, as usually, hooked up with, he was talking to some girl all night. Of course, he was gonna have a farewell with this girl. So we were all at this bar having drinks, sending them off. I don't even really remember having any kind of the way I talk about how this person was in my life. I don't remember having any, there was no sitting down and saying, well, hey, look, take care of yourself. But it was just, another night. I don't really remember details about the night because I didn't know that it was going to be that important of a night. I didn't know that would be the last night I ever saw him. So the next day, I'm at school, and people started talking, whatever, and all of a sudden, I don't know how I heard, but Johnny had died. We found out he was dead, and everybody was just kind of like freaked out. We started getting more information, and come to find out he had passed away that night with a girl. In upstate New York, when it snows, you get these snowbanks. Usually they're like 2 or 3 feet, and cars tend to be in those days too, they'd be rusted out, especially if it's a teenage person. And they were parking. And so apparently what happened was they pulled the car in, and the back of the car and the exhaust went into the snowbank. And I don't know, I'm sure they were making out or whatever they were doing in the car, and they left the car running because it was cold, and with the exhaust, and I guess rotted out in the bottom, have filled up with exhaust, and they asphyxiated. Very tragic. I don't know the details. I don't know, of course you imagine it like they were embraced in each other's arms, and I don't know if that's the case, but that's the way that I think of it. This has become my own personal mythology. For lack of a better word, you romanticize it, because it was such an important thing in your life, and when you replay that over in your mind, and it's sort of all the things that I learned from him stay with me to this day as guidelines of how to act around people, how to be socially, how to talk to women, how to talk to other guys. He died young, so he's he was perfect to me. Like he never had a chance to get overweight and bald and make some bad decisions. Maybe he wouldn't have. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the guy would have became a senator or president. I don't know. But he's like he never made it out of that town. Which is, I never thought of that actually, but I did.